Yeah, I feel like a little kid. Hi there, it's Tim, and today we're going to be doing a review of the Sidekick Fat Pro 2.0. And in fact, before we go any further, there's actually an almost identical e-bike to this called the Trail Pro. And it's basically the exact same one, except it has slightly different tires. But let me just get you back here. We're at the scene of the crime, if you like. There is a bridge, and there's a story coming up, and it involves this e-bike saving my bacon coming up next. Once upon a time, no, not once upon a time, last Thursday, I was running a little bit late. I had to get to my soccer game to referee soccer, and it happened to be on this side of the bridge. And I'm like, that's not a problem. Across the bridge, over yonder, 15 or 20 minute bike ride, I'll be there in no time flat. Unbeknownst to me, a vessel like this decided to go through the bridge. So the bridge went straight up in the air, and I'm stuck on the wrong side of the bridge. And I must have been there, because these things don't go that fast in the inner harbor. I must have been there like 10 or 12 minutes, just waiting and waiting and waiting, getting more and more late. I was getting nervous I was gonna be late for kickoff, which is never good if you're the referee. The Sidekick Fat Pro 2.0 saved my bacon, because as soon as that bridge came down, I was able to give it the beans, put it in 5th gear, and just boogie all the way to the soccer pitch. And what I was amazed at was that when I arrived, it still had full battery, like all the battery was lit up. So I hadn't even used up that much juice out of the battery, and I was still able to make it. What I also found was the speed. It was amazing. I was able to do, the max speed on this is 32 kilometers an hour in Canada. And every so often, if you're going downhill, it's going to be a little bit faster. But if you happen not to be in Canada, you can unlock it as well. Anyway, I arrived on time. In fact, I got there 8 minutes early, thanks to the Sidekick Fat Pro 2.0. Up next, I'm going to talk about this part of the e-bike. It's kind of amazing. You could do a time lapse if you wanted to. So when I hit the trestle bridge on my run to get to that soccer game, I was blown away by the ride quality over these types of bumps. As you can probably tell, it's a really bumpy bridge. The wooden slats, the gaps are quite large, but this with the suspension at the front, so it's got an adjustable suspension at the front, and like I was pointing out in that last clip, it's got a suspension at the back as well. It just makes it feel like you're gliding over these bumps. And honestly, this is only the second time I've ever even thought that, you know, riding over this bridge was okay. The other time it was the Muckpet GL 500, and that was lovely as well. And what's really funny is that Michael, my cameraman, he's in front right now riding the Muckpet GL 500. So both of us are experiencing awesome suspension today. So what do I like about the Sidekick Fat Pro 2.0? Well, there are a bunch of things. One of them is it's super powerful. 500 watts, it's getting me up and down these hills, no problems. It's got nut brakes, so hydraulic brakes, which is gonna get a big guy like me down to 0 in no time whatsoever. Love that. Super powerful. The fat tires themselves are absorbing all the little bumps. The shocks at the front, they're absorbing all the little bumps. The shock at the back, it's absorbing all the bumps. I love that as well. One of the other things, and this is something I want to share with you next, is the fact that it folds up. And the folding mechanism, the engineering that's gone into this, and the feedback they've had on previous iterations of this bike have allowed it to become amazing for folding. It's got some really cool stuff. I'm going to share that with you in a moment. But moving from there, the Shimano 7-speed derailleur, super easy to use, really smooth. And I think this is probably going to be for people who are just really like their position to be more straight up. You know, you don't like to be over the handlebars. You're not racing anywhere necessarily. You just want to be comfortable. You want to be able to ride for as long as you want to ride on a given day. These types of bikes are terrific at that. I'm loving the fact that the stem takes the weight of the battery as well. Oh, yeah, so that's a photo shoot. Thank you. But it's just a beautifully designed and engineered e-bike. There are a couple of things that I'm not a big fan of, but if this is sort of bike that you're thinking about, I'm thinking from an age groups, I'm thinking boomers, I'm thinking older than boomers, I'm thinking younger guys that want to go a little bit quickly. It's got a terrific rack at the back, which is 15 kilograms weight capacity. So what's that, 30, 35 pounds of weight? So you can certainly stack up a few books on the back there as well. I am totally impressed with this thing. And as I said earlier in one of my little short clips, if you've ever seen them, it was probably the most comfortable e-bike I've ever ridden. Anywho, I've talked a little bit too much here. I want to go next. We're going to go to a different spot, show you a little bit more of Victoria. I'm going to share with you what I don't like about this e-bike, where I think there's some improvements that could be made. And I'm also going to share with you and show you how to fold it up. Alrighty, well, it's time to fold it. I haven't done this before, so let's see how it goes. The double clamp over here on the seat, I'm just going to lower it all the way down, because that's what I would do if I was throwing this in the back of a car. Then I've got a release mechanism here, little safety latch it looks like. Oh, there's a safety latch here as well on the handlebars. Let's release the handlebars. They are going down. Whoops. Oh, you know what? I'm going to lower the handlebars as well, because I had that all the way up, because I like my handlebars to be nice and tall. So that goes down to the side. Then we're going to release in the middle. I'm going to take the kickstand off. And oh my gosh, that's so easy. So that's folding nicely. Whoops. A little tricky for the first time, but now I see what I did wrong. So let's bring that to here. Oh, that's really cool. There's a magnet at the back here that's keeping the two tires, the back tires, together. That's kind of handy. So I think if I was just to pick it up here, I can actually walk with it as well. That's got a freewheel tire. Oh, I like that. That makes so much sense. I really like that. And now to put it back together, latch on, safety, handlebars up, lock into place, safety catch, seat back up. So Captain Genius here did something kind of goofy. He arrived without the key for the battery. And what I did failed to take into consideration when I put this seat down and I closed this off, the actual clamp, I released the first clamp, no problem, and then the second clamp's actually stuck. It's not stuck, it's locked. So I'm gonna be riding around now with a short seat all the way for the rest of the ride. Not a big deal, it's a super comfortable seat. One of the other cool features is that it has folding pedals as well. So if you've got like a tight space in a hallway, this actually makes a big difference, because this bike actually sits in my hallway and I don't get hit by the pedals every day. That's a bonus. One of the other engineering marvels of this e-bike, when it arrived and I did the whole unboxing, I've never seen this type of catch/locking mechanism for a handlebar before. But look how simple it is. You just lift it up and that's it. So if you have any fine tuning, you want to rotate it, what have you, you can do that, and then locking it down is as simple as that. That is wonderful engineering, because typically you have 4 Torx or Allen key type bolts that you need, drilling those down, adjusting them, and this is very nice, very professional. Well, because Senor Genius here did not bring the key, I'll be riding home past the vicious dogs. Easy rider. Here we go. Actually, this is kind of fun. Yeah, I feel like a little kid. Easy rider, eat your heart out.
What?
You know the movie Easy Rider?
Did you see Easy Rider? No.
So what didn't I like about the Sidekick Fat Pro 2.0? Well, only 2 things. Number 1, the bell. The bell is somewhat anemic, and it's the same bell that I've seen with a lot of e-bikes, and I think what you probably want to do is replace it. Spend 10 bucks or 20 bucks and get yourself a nice bell that's a little bit louder. Because of the fat tires, you're gonna get a little bit of road noise, and with a little bit of road noise, I think it just gets drowned out. It's okay here, but when I'm riding along, especially if it's a little bit windy, a little bit noisy, you're in a city environment, a louder bell might be nice. The second thing is that it's sort of an in-between bike. It's not really a step-through bike, but it is a little bit. Like, the bar is certainly lower than the typical bar height. So if you absolutely need a step through, maybe you don't have the hip flexibility or what have you, whatever the reason is, you need a step through. Interestingly enough, Alter Ego do actually sell another bike. It's the X model, and it has a step through option. So that might be a better option for you. But, if you're just getting on and off, pretty simple. I must admit, I really enjoy the posture in this. I feel like my back is nice and straight, my arms are in a really comfortable position. I can adjust that according to my height. Even with the chair all the way down to the bottom, this has been absolutely delightful. And I think what I'm gonna do right now is grab some ice cream. Alrighty, Michael, what is the word of the day?
Compact. It folds up so beautifully. The magnets hold it together. It's easy to move around. It's compact and pretty cool.
So the Sidekick Fat Pro 2.0 is a huge 2 thumbs up, big guy approved e-bike. Big guy approved. I'm loving everything. I love the fat tires. I love the folding mechanism. Looks like you'll be able to just slide it right into the back of a hatchback. No problems. Maybe in the back seat of a regular car. The power, the 500 watt power, 500 watt motor at the back, plenty of power. Hydraulic brakes are fantastic. And my goodness, that suspension is beautiful.